What is the most important lesson learned from COVID-19? You can have all the free time in the world and still manage to do nothing with it. If there was ever a zombie attack, people would definitely lie about being bit. Non-essential jobs pay a lot more than essential ones. That 50% of jobs can be done from home while the other 50% deserve more than they're being paid. The supply chain is far leaner and vulnerable to the vagaries of pandemic conditions than most had thought. People are dumb as What's that old saying? We're all just 3 meals away from total chaos? I've been thinking about that adage a lot the past few years. I like people not being near me. How comfortable I seriously am with just myself. We need to teach statistics and critical thinking better. Just because they are voted officials, it's clear they aren't the smartest, nor do they have your best interest in mind. If your plan relies on everyone working together, it is doomed to fail. Most schools weren't as ready to switch to digital methods as they bragged about. Apparently, toilet paper is more valuable than anything. You should take the time to spend with those you love. That it wouldn't take much for civilized people to turn on each other. People are than I expected. Bold of you to assume we've learned anything. Alcohol doesn't improve my life, it just feels good for a moment. 9 months sober. Regardless of the nature of the crisis, the rich get richer and we get. During COVID I was laid off for months and spent that whole time keeping up to date on everything going on in the world. I mean everything I possibly could, every single day. I reached the point of obsessive and the massive amount of negative crushed me. There was so much bad going on, so much suffering that eventually, one day I just set it all down and said I'll check in a month. Best decision I made that year, the only thing that kept my sanity. Just taking time away and not bathing in it every day. In a really dangerous situation that requires unity, we're People make irrational decisions when afraid. When the really hits the fan, we're Your employer will spend more telling everyone that they value your work than showing it to you. Corporate profits don't trump control, even though for many companies 2021/2022 were banger years. You gotta get your butt back into their ill-equipped office because they say so. Government made rules they didn't follow themselves. The veneer of control is thin. Supply chain is very sensitive. People care more about things being easy than thinking about them gradually. There are me people and there are we people. Most grown adults are nasty and have to be reminded to wash their hands. People do not have the skills to evaluate, or read, studies and draw appropriate conclusions from. I.e., a study states it's a preliminary study and people use it to draw conclusions. That we need to permanently retire the expression avoid it like the plague. I don't need to leave the house, not really that much at least. People are stupid. Tomorrow isn't promised. The rules can change at any given moment. Cherish today. People will listen to politicians over their doctors. I work in childcare. We learned that children really need socialization. You'd think with time off parents would work on things. Kids came back to daycare, not potty trained, still using a pacifier, speech behind, refusing to share. It's better now, but it was really interesting seeing a child pre-COVID who you potty trained come back months later acting pretty helpless. I don't know if it's parents, the lack of social pressure, or just some other thing. But it was an interesting experience. That being tied to the office, working insane hours, super long commutes are not necessary. During a zombie apocalypse a lot of people will absolutely hide their bites and kill the group in the process. People don't suck as much as I thought. It's far worse. Any nefarious actor could wipe out the entire world's population with the right virus if they wanted to, and there's nothing we can or would do to stop it. Get ahead of the curve by producing your own toilet paper for the next pandemic. How corrupt and or uneducated our politicians are and how bad and inefficient our system is. I am from Germany. A crisis couldn't have been managed worse. Complete chaos. It was terrible. No, I am no Querdenker. Rather the opposite. People don't give a flying about you. Like, truly and fully don't care how their actions affect those around them. I've lost so much respect and affection for so many friends and family because of how they conducted themselves at the initial stages of the outbreak. Lot of came to light about them that I still have difficulty reconciling with myself. Humanity lacks the ability to come together and function for the greater. Despite every alien invasion movie relying on that ability.